All right, what is up? We have the finals for the OLS number 21 coming right up here in a second. My name is Shit Just Works, and I did this alongside Boulevard as per usual. We have, man, we got a banger. We got a banger in the finals, and that is Stan versus Garretz. Going to be in the finals here. Both no stranger to top cut, so awesome to see them both making it. But we'll see here in a second who is going to take home the championship. We got a little bit of the Ladros OTK going on. We got some Bilgewater Targon, of course, and we got some barrier with that new Aegis barrier rally card. So we'll see if that's going to be prevalent here in this matchup. But without further ado, here we go, baby. OLS number 21 finals. Let's go ahead and head on into game one of the finals of OLS number 21.
Well, we are going to get started off with the Shen Fiora up against the Zoe Aphelios, and there's enough silence in a deck like this that you're not going to be able to, or you're not going to be too worried about like the barrier spells and effects like that coming down. But I do really like this build out of Garretz with the 3 copies of Golden Aegis. This deck getting a little bit powered up from the new set and actually cutting down on Riposte in order to make room for this.
All right, so hold on. One thing I am going to be disappointed on with this barrier deck, which I didn't actually... Okay, good. There is one thing to be excited for with this barrier deck, and it is the addition of 3 Golden Aegis in the deck. If you guys don't know what that does, it is a 4-cost slow speed spell that basically is Relentless Pursuit, but you also give an ally barrier this round. So, I mean, honestly, it just feels like a no-brainer to trade this out for Relentless Pursuit, right?
Yep. And I think as we had mentioned yesterday, it came up pretty immediately. Golden Aegis, not nopifiable. And Lee Sin is still a pretty popular deck among the top cut competitors. And just, you know, high-level Legends of Runeterra overall. So it is nice to just have that sort of added bonus. It's not necessarily the thing that pushes it over the edge. I think the barrier is what does that. But it's certainly nice to have that nice little backup interaction.
Well, in the meantime, we have Zoe doing Zoe things, getting those Nexus strikes in early. And actually... oddly enough, actually able to pull this Fiora as well with the Boxtopus, which is going to be a real big advantage here for Stan if we are actually able to get this kill off. We don't have the mana for Riposte available. We only have 3 mana. So I do think Stan is going to be able to remove this Fiora, and I think that's the biggest concern here for Stan in this matchup is getting rid of Fiora early so that she doesn't start to take over the game and possibly work towards that win condition.
Yeah, this is absolutely huge for Stan. Now Garretz doesn't have a good target for his Shen. You can go in with a Brightsteel Protector? That's a nothing play, SJW. That doesn't do anything. Shen is going to have to stand on his own for the time being, and we are so far away from this Brightsteel formation. We're really looking to try and top... I mean, there's a lot of things that we could top deck, especially as we go into turn 5. We've still got the Screeching Dragons, the River Shapers, even Laurent Chevalier would help us in a pinch.
Yeah, honestly, you know, I gotta love Stan's position. I think you're right. You know, like you said, there's nothing to really go in with aside this Shen. And that's what this deck wants to do early on is get, you know, turns 1, 2, and 3, get those units with Challenger down, get those Green Glade Caretakers down to then drop a Shen on turn 4, have a decent attack. Now, God, is this a sad attack. God, is Shen just so sad on his own. Just going in and just getting chump blocked with the Spacey Sketcher. And sure, you get rid of the 1/1 token that was laying around, but doesn't really feel that great when you're now behind 2 units now on board of Garretz. And that's what you want to do in this matchup is pressure early. And right now we're failing miserably at that.
And we're like even the spells that we're drawing in, and Garretz actually has done a pretty good job of cutting down on the bricks. As we had mentioned, you know, generally we weren't seeing 3 copies of Relentless Pursuit in Shen Fiora. We were seeing 1, sometimes 2, but almost nobody was going 3 copies because this does, you know, play a little bit more of a board control style. And while Relentless Pursuit helps with that, for the most part, it's a little bit more of a win more card. And to make room for the triple Golden Aegis, we have cut down on Riposte and Spirit's Refuge and just these burst speed barrier spells in general. We've only got 1 Riposte in the deck. We've only got 2 Spirit's Refuge in here, and yet Garretz is still drawing them at one of the most inopportune times.
Yeah, and Stan even opting to go with something like the Serpent, which is going to be able to pick off the units that Garretz does throw down. You know, and this is perfect. You know, this is literally what Stan wanted to grab Serpent for, is a Bright Steel Protector. You know, generally speaking, you got to think there's probably one of those lying around in Garrett's hand. Serpent going to be able to pick it off. You're almost never going to want to protect a Bright Steel Protector. In this case, ironically enough, in this case, oh, wow. Okay, so we're actually just passing back over. Stan not going to go ahead and try to pull it. I was going to say Garretz might want to try to protect the Bright Steel Protector just because we don't have any other units in hand. You know, when you are this low on units as the barrier player, you kind of have to hold on to, with your dear life, any units you actually get and make sure they stay on board.
Actually, I mean, we were just talking about how Garrett's had a bad top deck in the Spirit's Refuge, and then he goes and draws a second. That is every burst speed barrier spell in his deck in his hand. Like, yep. This is so unfortunate. If we see an Aegis, a golden Aegis off the top,
terrible.
Then
oh man,
and this is what really drives people away from Shen Fiora a lot of the time. I feel you have the games like this where the deck just doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's just, you know, it's a great ladder deck because, you know, it'll win percentage-wise. You don't mind having these games every once in a while. Generally speaking, you'll be able to pull out a lot of games. But in tournaments, it feels bad when you're drawing like this and you really don't have control over what's happening. You're at the whim of the deck now. You're at the whim of the deck gods. If you top deck a follower or a champion, you top deck it, great. If you don't, you don't, and you're screwed. And that's essentially what it's coming down to here. We obviously are going to protect this Shen. We, at this point, essentially have to protect the Shen. There's nothing we can do about it. We could hush in response on the side of Stan, and I don't see why we don't get that, because I think Stan understands, listen, my opponent has a jank hand. We don't have a whole lot of units on their side of the board. I want to get rid of what there is on that side of the board, and now we're going into the attack turn again with the ability to pull this Bright Steel Protector and just completely throw this game in the favor of Stan.
Luckily for Garretz, he does have a backup Shen, although, you know, actually just a surrender.
You were just trying to make a case as to how Garretz might be able to do something, and then poof, gone.
Look, like I said, the next tournament is in 45 minutes.
Stan, what do you think? Stan's probably messaging him like, "Come on, man, you don't have anything in hand. Just surrender. it's fine. We have another tournament to get into. Just do it." All right, going into game 2 here. I hope we don't get a quick 2-0 though. I hope that we are able to get a nice 3-game final series here.
I got shit to do today.
Yeah, I know. I still have to go do my weekly shopping a little bit later. All right, here we go. Hopping straight into game 2 here. And
this is a
much better hand. We both literally had the same exact thought at the same time. Yep. Oh, yeah. This is everything you can want. Maybe not everything. I mean, a 2-drop would be nice, too, if we grab a Bright Steel Protector in a second. But concurrent timelines, though, to start for Stan, which isn't going to be terrible with... excuse me. Wow. With these 2 fading icons in hand. Because they will be able to upgrade into some other 2-drops there. But Elise also... a pretty good pickup here going into this this Greenglade Caretaker. Blackmarket Merchant, not really good. Hired Gun, again, will not get the summon effect, but is better stats.
You might as well take the gun. Yeah. You might as well take a 2-3.
Yeah. I mean, I was just going to say, I think you argue, though, this is technically better if we ever do get an ephemeral.
Because you play Stalking
Yep. So, and, yep, just going to take the 2 to the face on the side of Garretz, and we'll see if... hopefully we draw a 2, or actually, no, we're going into turn 3. So the River Shaper, we're going to feel pretty good about that this turn. Yep. And unfortunately, can't really do much with it, though, as the Soul Shepherd does shut down the attacks from the River Shaper with no real way to protect it. We could Sharp Sight and make the trade happen, if that's an option, but we would also have the Mystic Shot on backup to get that River Shaper off board if that is the route that Garretz takes.
And I like the pass. We've still got the Sharp Sight to protect from any kind of spells coming out of Stan, or if we really want to, we could single combat it into the prey. Now, talking about single combating it into the prey, I don't know if you saw this, but somebody attempted to make a Reddit post about all of the different ways that you can answer the Dreadway Ladros combo in every region.
Yeah.
And they listed single combat as an option in Demacia. And outside of Bright Steel Formation...
yeah, what's actually going to kill it? You need a very large unit for that to work.
Yeah, you would need like a riposte onto a Cythria.
Yeah.
Or it's very unlikely that the single combat actually does work out like that. But Garretz does have the odd attack tokens, and that means that on turn 9, we will get the first priority sequence. We can throw down Brightsteel formation and have that single combat available if Stan does go for the Dreadway Ladros combo, since concurrent timelines is online. But I think it's much more likely that with this Golden Aegis especially, we're just going to try to kill Stan before we get to that point.
Yeah, I think Garretz will be able to rush down Stan before that ever even happens. But you got to keep in mind, too, we also have Deny. I mean, Deny just straight up stops the combo, right? Or
That's
Jesus, I did it again. I called it a combo. I'm sorry, it's not a combo, all right? But yeah, so I mean, I am not called no. No. I hate that I called it a combo. I hate it.
No. So follow me here. Two card interactions like that is a combo. That doesn't make it a combo deck. Like Swain Leviathan is a combo.
Yeah. Yep.
Not every Swain deck is a combo deck.
Yeah.
A deck with a combo in it is different.
Yep. No, I hear you.
I think we were talking about that off camera. The semantics of
we're going to be arguing.
We tried to bring
we're going to be arguing about this until like the next set release.
Nobody's ever going to stop arguing about this.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, just combos in general. So we actually got this is a card we barely ever see, Eminent Benefactor. That's a not bad pickup. Create in hand an epic card from your region. So as far as cards to transform into, I'm going to say that's pretty high roll. Let's see what we get for the epic though. That is a high roll.
That's a good one.
That's a card.
And if I remember correctly, there aren't any. Okay, there is one Ruination in Stan's list, so at least Garretz is like going to already be thinking about this card, because it would have been a total disaster if Stan wasn't playing it and Garretz was going, oh, I don't have to play around Ruination. Then it's a total blowout. But because Stan has it in the list, Garretz is already prepared for this and will be playing around it.
Yeah, now there is already a Deny in hand as well. Then there's the consideration, like, do you save the Deny for the Ladros combo? It depends on kind of really the game state at that point. I don't know. It's going to be interesting how this Deny gets used, and if Stan actually draws a second Ruination, that's going to be the unexpected Ruination if we actually make it to a point where both are getting played. But yeah, so we get the Spider transformed into. Doesn't seem terrible. It does force a block onto either the Shen or the Green Glade. Maybe we decide to force the issue with that, but this would run straight into a River Shaper if we do decide to attack as well, and I don't know if you want to take that risk of possibly getting that additional spell generation.
No, I think that Stan, I mean, even if you run it into the Green Glade Caretaker, I feel like Garretz is going to be pretty fine with that, especially when the remainder of his turn is develop second River Shaper, and, just actually not going to develop the River Shaper, going to, do the Shen Fiora special of holding open at least 4 mana at all times.
Yeah, until something else gets played, and I think this might prompt the River Shaper now. We got the Ladros.
How has Stan never whiffed on
I don't know.
At least on camera. We've only seen him play it like 3 times, but like, I mean, how many times have we seen Mistwraith players with like 24 hits whiff on that card?
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, we played it pretty early now too, right? Like we were at 29 cards when we played that. We were able to grab it.
Yeah, and we only had, I think 3 followers, maybe only 2 followers have already been grabbed, so we've only got 7 left in the deck.
You know what? He's just good at the game, man. That's what good players do.
He's always hitting Ladros,
Yeah, that's what good players do. They just draw what they need.
Good players draw good cards.
So we'll see how Stan decides to deal with this. A Ruination gets denied and basically probably loses the game at this point. So we can't go with the Ruination. If we can also redevelop units too on the side of Garrett. There's no units in hand, so it's definitely going to get denied. Looks like we're going to Rummage. Yeah, get rid of that concurrent timelines. This is why we talked about Rummage being in the deck before as well. Want to make sure that we're able to get rid of those cards that aren't so useful. And I'm really curious to see, I mean, we talked about Garrett's closing out the game early, but really the cards that we've been drawing as far as units are concerned aren't really impactful as far as closing out the game. Like, sure, we have a bunch of spells because of River Shaper, but spells don't actually win the game. Spells just support us winning the game.
Yeah, but I think the Golden Aegis is going to do a lot of work depending on what does come out of these River Shapers. And there's no way, I mean, Stan does still have the Ruination mana, so Garrett's can't get too feisty.
All right, this is going to push a little bit of damage. See if we get some sort of barrier onto the River Shaper as well. We do have Vile Feast. I'm trying to think of how that might play into this. Looks like we aren't really concerned with getting rid of this Greenglade Caretaker, so that's not really going to get used. And yeah, just going to let the two spells get drawn. This, at the very least, thins the deck to make sure we draw a unit. Maybe, hopefully. Because now, losing the Shen, we 100% need to get a unit here. We could rally, though.
I really like the rally because at the moment, Concerted Strike does not kill the boat. We do need to rally, and then that'll set up, get our Greenglade Caretaker a little bit bigger. We even have the Spirit's Refuge should we need it. And we're just going to be able to get a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger up until the point where we can just kill the boat in response and hopefully save our Deny for the more impactful spells like Vengeance, Ruination, things of that nature.
All right, so we're actually going to get the Withering Wail and Vile Feast in response to get rid of the River Shaper. And this actually prevents the barrier, which is impactful for all the reasons you just mentioned, Boulevard. All right, nope, we are going to get the Deny in response. I was going to say, if we do prevent the barrier, now Concerted Strike is not really a concern, against something like Dreadway, but now it once again is with that Spirit's Refuge in conjunction with it. And Stan's going to be a little worried now.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing where, so Stan threw the Vile Feast onto the River Shaper that was getting barriered. So if the play didn't work out, then you run into this kind of situation where your Spiderling actually doesn't get to trade with the River Shaper. But I'm not sure how much that mattered because I think it's, not out of the realm of possibility that Stan lines up the blocker and then glimpse beyonds to dodge the draw from the River Shaper anyway. So it doesn't really matter which one he actually threw the Vile Feast at.
Yeah, very typical play with Glimpse Beyond. So again, anybody who might be new to the game, because the River Shaper is not actually striking the unit, that Glimpse Beyond does prevent that draw from the River Shaper ability. So good stuff on the side of Stan. And Kindred off the top now as well. Actually gonna get some work done. I mean, kind of the good thing with Kindred is if you are able to remove one unit, you can remove another unit because of the mark. And it starts to really pick away at the board super fast. We did top deck a unit finally for Garretz, and it's a pretty good one. It's Shen. So we'll see if the Shen comes down. Oh, that's a Boxtopus. That's a high roll. That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, Garretz can Concerted Strike this and get 2 draws if he wants to really greed it out by going for both River Shapers. I don't think he's in a position where he can do that because if, like a Vile Feast or something comes out. Oh, but he's balling hard today, SJW, and there is actually just no punish out of Stan.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, well, we're gonna get even more spells. We have to draw another unit now, right? are there any spells left in the deck? Jesus.
There's still quite a few, but if Garretz wants to, I don't really want to say greed it out and throw down this Shen, but if he does decide to throw down the Shen, then Stan actually has play Kindred, Thermo Beam the 2/1 River Shaper, kill both River Shapers. And while they've done enough work in terms of drawing spells, Garretz could let them die. Garretz is really looking to end the game through unit damage pretty soon. And he needs Shen for that. And I think that this might actually get to be the turn of the lethal push, but no, we don't go for it.
All right, not playing the Shen. Oh, no, we have a Golden Aegis off the top. We have Rally.
Oh, okay. Yep. I mistook that for something else. It looks like so many of the Shurima cards that, mentally, I was just like, that's not Golden Aegis, but it is. And because we have the Deny for the Ladros ability, or we could even
I think we have it
go
this
with
turn.
Concerted Strike now that we have the boat. Yeah, we've got it with the Golden Aegis.
Yeah, Golden Aegis is just going to get the job done. I mean, even if we Golden Aegis and that prompts a Rumination, we have the Deny for the Rumination. And then we only have 3 mana left on the side of Stan. That removes 1 unit with something like Thermo Beam, but that's not going to be enough. We only have to do 3 more damage to seal the deal here. And I'm glad we get to see Golden Aegis win a game. This is good. I like that this card exists now. But I guess my question is Golden Aegis just straight up better than Relentless Pursuit in almost every deck?
No. I think that Relentless being cheaper does matter in
hyper aggressive decks,
aggro decks and things like that. Because even at this point, we're seeing Homecoming is being played over Will of Ionia. That 1 mana reduction, even though it comes with the secondary cost of bouncing my own unit or landmark, players have said that it's just worth it.
And it looks like Stan is just going to go ahead and try to rip this Ruination. I mean, there was 1 Deny that came off already. Earlier, I think it was on the Withering Wail or something like that it was denied.
Yeah.
And no, okay. I actually like this by Stan just trying to go for the game here, but this is not going to work out. unfortunately.
Yep. And this does mean that we can just Golden Aegis for the lethal. It was actually kind of funny because if Garretz really wanted to, it's kind of risky, but with perfect information, he actually could have just let the Ruination go, played the Shen and Golden Aegis for lethal.
Yeah. Yeah, and Golden Aegis taking home a sweet victory here for Garretz. And that does mean after that super quick first game, we are going to get a game 3. And I think Stan, thinking, if we play the thermo beam, we can prevent lethal, but we know that's not going to be the case. We have actually a few options. We can deny this, we can let it go through, and then we have sharp sight, and there's lots of different ways that we can go about this, but looks like we are going to go with the barrier. Actually, this would make it traded with the Bird Steel formation, but Garretz going to take game 2. Very excited here to get the game 3. I think we're going to see Lissandra, hopefully.
Yeah, that seems correct, because I think the other deck is Twisted Fate Fizz. I don't imagine that is a deck that we were looking to leave open. But, I mean, I don't actually know much about the Karina versus Lissandra matchup, and, I'm at this weird point where, like, I don't love the Karina Veraza in this deck, but I feel like I'm going to continuously call it Karina just because that is sort of the moniker for Shadow Isle, Piltover, and Zon control.
Yeah, yep. Oh, is this so? We're gonna go the same route as why we call Endure Spiders and Endure Spiders. Yeah. It's just
which, like, that one made sense because you usually had at least some amount of spider generation in the deck. But I mean, I still call decks, like, people are like, oh, what's the new Demacia deck? And I'm like, oh, well, like, it's a Bannerman deck, which it doesn't run Vanguard Bannerman, but now you understand that, like, it is a Demacia mid-range deck that plays a couple supporting scales and mostly units and is looking to curve out beautifully.
Well, we got concurrent timelines again to start things off. Gonna feel real nice. And that means, again, we're gonna be able to get maybe some value out of this Fading Icon. That 1-2 punch right there is really nice, being able to get that off early, especially when you're getting things like Boxtopus, planned, calculated. No Boxtopus here. Crimson Disciple seems like the better choice just because it's a little stickier of a unit. Not going to get the play effect on Bright Steel Protector, and obviously the Stalker, not that great. So, yep, Crimson Disciple going to be the choice.
Speaking of Stalker, though, I've seen a couple people playing a one-of Stalker in this concurrent timelines list, and I actually like it a lot. Because the Ephemeral is something that is inherent to the card and not something that was added onto it, like something like Stalking Shadows, it actually just turns into a new unit, and you can just run out a train of 2-drops every turn.
Yeah, that is a very nice interaction with that card as well. I don't hate that addition to the deck. I think was it somebody in the tournament that was running it as well? I think we saw it yesterday.
Maybe. It is kind of like counterintuitive in the respect that, like, you don't really care about aggroing down your opponent with this 2-drop board because the plan is to one-shot them with Ladros Dreadway, which is why we don't even see Atrocity in this list. But having a big board of blockers, could have a little bit of merit to it.
Well, now we have the Battle of the Crimson Disciples. No, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a Crimson deck. I know we have some new Crimson support. It is, in fact, still bad. It doesn't work. And, Garrett's going to be the Crimson Disciple that wins out there. Possibly get it removed with this Thermo Beam, but looks like we are just looking to bank this spell mana going into turn 4 now. So pretty even so far as the game is concerned. We got 2 Poro Cannons in hand. Now that we have a stress testing, maybe we're able to utilize either one of those or this Rummage. So I imagine we're going to do something this turn with one of these discard cards. And also start reducing the cost of this Burblefish to start putting on some aggression.
I don't hate the pass out of Garretz. You had a really weak turn in front of you, and now we're picking up the pick a card at kind of a weird timing. Generally, you want to be playing this going into the aggressive turns, unless you are playing the 2 copies of Mind Meld, which I don't believe Garretz is. And yeah, only playing the 1. Oh, okay, only playing 1 Suit Up as well. And that's not great, because Suit Up is what really puts the control matchups really over the edge in favor of Twisted Fate Fizz, but not having that card available does put you at a much greater risk to this Withering Wail and this box and all these tools that Stan has available.
Yeah, Stan ultimately has a lot of removal. Box especially is probably going to come in really big here, especially with these 2 Burblefish in hand. And we've seen this before where players have to play around, as the Twiz player, have to play around something like Box, so they're not really able to summon as many Burblefish in a single turn as they'd like. So we might see Garretz try to play around that here and only summon 1 Burblefish on any particular turn and just slowly kind of build up that board. But we do also see the Vile Feast in hand, which could take care of some of these units if we want.
Yeah, the Vile Feast would actually let us kill the Fizz, as that'll get marked by Kindred. That's not a targeting effect, as it doesn't use the stack, so would be able to get that nice little 2-for-1 special, and then attack with the Kindred. Kindred having quick attack is so insane.
Yeah. I don't even know if Kindred needs quick attack. His effect alone, like, if you look at the board state here, Kindred's effect is straight up winning the game for Stan right now. The fact that we can mark Fizz like that, like you mentioned, with it not going on the stack is incredible and really turns the game in Stan's favor, just so easily removing all the units that Garretz has worked to develop on board.
And this pick a card, it's not bad. It's certainly not bad. The stress testing is a little awkward because we're going to want to Urchin the stress testing because that is just such, those are all our ephemeral or fleeting. I was about to call them ephemeral in hand.
I mean, they
almost.
basically are.
Yeah, this is what we were worried about. Is now we've got the double fleeting zap spray fin. We're gonna end up losing one of them unless we just kind of like we can't. Oh, actually, just gonna go for the blue card on the TF. Probably just gonna rummage both zaps in that case. But I do like getting the value that we can where we can, and at least throwing one of these down, even if we have to rummage the other.
We'll see what Stan decides to go with next. It's looking like, or sorry, Garretz, I should say, looking like a gold card. Take care of this quick attack Kindred that you just mentioned, but we could again actually level the Kindred. All right, we actually have Mystic Shot, so we could just straight up kill the Kindred. We have a way to save it with the Kindred in hand. Could also just wait till next turn to play the Kindred, but I do imagine we are going to get this Mystic Shot to deal with the Kindred ASAP.
And it's very important that Garrett sequences this correctly. Actually, it doesn't matter here. We're not going to see the Kindred spell in response because we don't have the mana for it. But
no, we could Vile Feast in response and level the Kindred, right?
No, Kindred has to wait until
sorry, it's the mark. I'm thinking the Slay is what
Which
levels
I guess
them.
actually,
Yeah.
Yes, you could have leveled it in response actually because the mark would have gone onto one of those units, and it doesn't have to kill it with its effect. It just needs to see the marked unit die. The marked unit would have been, I believe, Zonite, Urchin, or Fizz in that case.
It would have died after the Mystic Shot.
Would have died after the Mystic Shot. Yeah. So the way that the stack worked out was just a little unfortunate. Yeah, Stan, no way to save that, but because you have the Kindred spell in hand, there's this cool little caveat where that means you also just have a second Kindred in hand.
Yeah, so the Kindred spell is interesting. I think technically it's usually better to play the Kindred spell instead of replay the Kindred, just because you're getting the additional Kindred shuffled into your deck. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
It does, but I think in this, there are times and places for it, and I do like that we just let the Kindred, even if we had the option to play it, not shuffling the Kindred into deck, because we are getting to the point where all we're looking for is Ladros, and we have the Stalking Shadows in hand. We don't want more champions in our deck that are just getting in the way of drawing Commander Ladros.
Yeah, that actually is a good point, especially with the way that Stalking Shadows is being played in Stan's deck. So we'll see if we just get a Stalking Shadows ripped at 29 cards again to find the Ladros that we know is obviously in the top 4 cards of our deck. So we do have another Fading Icon in hand as well, which Concurrent Timeline still active. So we would be able to potentially get an upgraded unit there. See if we can nab ourselves another Boxtopus. See, there I go again. Using keywords. Using nab in a sentence. I can't help it. All right, see, I was right. It's in the top 4 cards. A good player always knows where their cards are in the deck.
You sound like you cheat.
Yeah, right?
SJW's out here bottom peeking when he plays you in real life. Watch out, everybody. Because I know lands are going to come. We're all going to play whatever our favorite dead card game is together. And SJW's going to be bottom peeking. He's going to know what's down there.
You're going to watch me when I shuffle the deck.
Yeah. Do you have an EDH deck, SJW?
An idiot? No.
Well, you're gonna need to get one. That's how we're gonna network at these events, my guy. Gonna go out to dinner, say, hey, who wants to come back to my hotel room for some EDH? Everybody's gonna say yes. That's how you make friends in the card game community. Do I like Magic the Gathering? Not particularly. Do I have 2 EDH decks of varying power levels ready to network with me? Absolutely, I do.
Oh man, good old Commander. So we have Kindred looking like we could go in for an attack here. This one is also looking like it's going to stick to the field. There's no real way for Garretz to get rid of it. Mystic Shot not quite going to do the job. And I don't know. I really am liking Stan's spot now. I don't think Garretz has enough aggression or enough power to really push through a victory here. We also have a lot of heal on the side of Stan and just straight up removal. And I gotta say, I'm very happy. As much as I do think this Ladros concurrent timelines combo is super duper easy, I love seeing Twiz lose now. This is great. Sorry, Garretz.
I want you to like name the decks that you love to see lose and like list them in order so that I know, like, you know, if Twiz is your number 1 and then like it goes up against your number 2, like I know which one you're rooting against. Actually, where does Targon's Peak fall on that?
I'm usually, well, Targon's Peak is kind of an anomaly because we just saw it today for the first time, and I just don't like RNG. But I'd say right now Twiz and TF Aphelios, I like to see lose, and I don't know if it's maybe just TF is the issue because I actually do like Aphelios. I don't think, especially after the nerf down to 2 health, I don't think he's completely busted. TF, on the other hand, I do think is very, very good. And in the meantime, Dreadway, the combo, it's happening. I don't see a way for Garretz to beat it. And it does look like Stan is going to be taking home a victory for OLS number 21. Congratulations, Stan, new OLS champion. All right, and congrats to my man, Stan, for taking it home. OLS number 21 champion. And man, it was definitely an interesting top cut. Always fun. Again, you guys can find the tournament info in the description below if you guys want to go ahead and check it out. Also, the deck list will be down there. And we hope to see you at the next OLS. It's going to be 22, which will be, from the day that this is posted, a little more than a week away. So looking forward to seeing everybody there. Also going to be casting the latest iteration of, it's actually Duels of Shurima this weekend, not necessarily Duels of Runeterra, so we'll see how that goes. We'll be alongside Boulevard for that one as well, and going to be really exciting to see what that tournament brings after, you know, a week or so of the set settling down and people starting to figure out what the meta is going to look like. But as always, everybody, stay healthy, stay positive. I hope shit just works for you, and peace out.